Hello, my name is Sue Barrett, and to me life is all about opportunity. The opportunity to develop our skills and capabilities, the opportunity to do good work, the opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. For the better part of my professional career, I've spent my life working on sales and how we sell better. The following clips you're about to see are expressions of this work, where we look at sales strategy, sales process, sales people, and sales culture. I hope you find the experience worthwhile, and I look forward to the opportunity of working with you in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Can you all hear me out the back? Okay, I'll do my best. I've entitled this presentation that life is all about opportunity. And as a number of you know, I went around and did a bit of a quick vox pop to actually ask you about what life means to you in relation to opportunity. Some of you were a bit flummoxed by that question. Some of you gave me some really interesting information. And my job will be to try and tie together the threads, if you like, of some of the information I received from you into my presentation today. I have been asked to actually speak about myself, which is my least favourite topic. I am much more interested in talking about how to create better businesses, better cultures, great sales teams, great customer experiences. But what I thought I would do is actually weave opportunity into my life and how I got to actually stand here in front of you today.
You will have noticed that each of you have a book at your place setting. This book, 142 Days of Gratitude That Changed My Life Forever, sums up, in some way, the last 5 years of our journey at Barrett and my journey personally and professionally. It's not your typical business book. In fact, as my colleague and friend Jonathan Matheny describes it, it's a treatise on positive power of gratitude. So how did this book come about? Where did it all begin? In 2014, in the space of a few weeks, I lost my dad, and I had my trust betrayed by a person who left our business and took a deal worth $300,000 along with them. In mourning and trying to rescue my business, being grateful was initially far from my mind. That is until my friend Mike Lowe, who is also here today, prompted me to do a gratitude diary exercise on Facebook for 5 days. Except I continued to write my diary for 142 days. This daily practice of gratitude has had a profound and lasting impact on me, my family, my team, my business, our clients and friends. Like everyone, I've had my share of ups and downs. However, even when things feel bleak and I feel too tired to go on, I always seem to find a way forward, which is why the story in this book is so telling about the importance of gratitude and maintaining one's optimism for the future. This book is my story about practicing gratitude daily for 142 days and how it improved my life and changed my business forever. The compound effect of practicing gratitude seemed to radiate out to others with positive impact, which in turn helped me. It became a win-win all round. You will see I've included all 142 days of my gratitude diary in this book. I've also written a couple of chapters about the science behind gratitude and the moral case for gratitude. These chapters are there to give my experience, and hopefully yours as well, some context, substance and background to the real and lasting effects of gratitude. Ironically, it turned out the betrayal by this person was initially the worst, but then the best thing that happened to me, my team and my family in 2014. It became a major catalyst for positive change, which has led to much greater successes. It forced my team and me to find our true purpose and pathway forward. It forced me to define my own truth, my destiny, and learn how to stand firm even in tough times. I can honestly say we have produced our best work by far since 2014, changing the way people and businesses sell for the better. We have created a selling better philosophy, a manifesto and a movement, a world-class sales strategy and codified sales operating system, codified sales tools, resources and education, including classroom, in-field and online, and a sales training and execution platform application. This work is now fundamentally changing how business leaders design, manage and execute their sales strategies and sales operating systems. how they lead, coach and inspire their sales teams to deliver real value to clients, how they engage the broader parts of their businesses to embrace and work in a truly customer-centric manner, and how they create selling better cultures that deliver real and lasting results.
Welcome to salesessentials.com, the essential resource for people anywhere in the world to enhance their sales capabilities. Sales Essentials believes that selling is everybody's business and everybody lives by selling something. Whether you have an idea, product, service or opportunity that you want to take to market, or you need to influence key stakeholders, then you need to be able to sell ethically, honourably and effectively. Today, selling is about the fair exchange of value, where people buy from people they trust. And in turn, the buyer and the seller achieve real results and prosperous, viable relationships. Hello, I'm Sue Barrett, founder and CEO of salesessentials.com and Barrett Consulting Group. Since 1995, we've been working with thousands of people around the world, giving them access to practical and effective sales tools and education with outstanding results. We've even got selling a university qualification. So welcome to salesessentials.com. The essential resource for people anywhere in the world to enhance their sales capabilities. People would, often think that's the case, that you're in sales, you're responsible for customers. But actually, it's across a whole value chain. If you're not actually out there selling, you've got to understand that your role is actually supporting someone who is. So all of us need to have a line of sight to the customer and understand how our role actually serves the execution and success of our customer interactions. A lot of people think selling's not their job. They sit back in judgment of salespeople or just hands-off role. You cannot do that anymore. Our points of difference is, as a team, we all unite together to deliver an amazing customer experience. If we can do that and deliver on our value proposition and we all understand what that's actually about, then we will actually have a very successful business. We have to make sure that we steer away from point solutions, which we've talked about in the past, where people think fixing a sales team is just one thing, to stick a CRM in or do this. We have to say no, that's not going to work. What we have to do is actually explain the various components of a sales system and then actually allow these non-sales executives to participate in the development of that. We've been, for example, running very successfully, we do a sales strategy and operations audit.
Right.
Which actually maps a whole lot of areas, including, market segmentation, sales messaging, sales force structure, sales processes, sales technology, sales leadership development, metrics, strategies, and so on. And so it maps all of those things, and we deliberately ask the sales leaders to invite the non-sales exec, A, to complete the audit,
right,
and then be part of actually developing the sales strategy. The first thing we have to acknowledge and communicate and share with anyone who will listen is that, as you said, selling is a world of approximation. It doesn't follow a linear pathway. It is a system that has many variables. So I liken leading and running a sales team and a sales operation like being that plate spinner, at the fair,
oh, yes,
where they put one plate up and spin it around, and then they get the next one up and the next one up, and then they get to the end, and by the time, then it starts wobbling, and which one should I let drop and which one should I keep? That's what running a sales operation is like.
It is, isn't it? It's a classic example.
This is a bit like a kind of a diary or a journal journey for me, because I started my sales career in my father's timber yard when I was about 12, 13 years of age. And in fact, that's actually where I learnt how to sell better and how to help people and how to sort out puzzles and problems for people. And not long before he died, it was about 4 years ago now, he went on a bit of an archaeological dig up in his cupboard and he found a book, and it was called How to Hire and Manage Your Salesmen, circa 1960. But what was really beautiful about this book, besides the sexist title, was the fact that actually all of the things that I'm going to talk to you about today are actually still, the things in this book are still relevant today. There are a few changes and twists and turns, but it is a really interesting journey about looking at what is good selling How do we sell better? How do we help each other? And how do we actually navigate all of the sparkly, kind of sometimes terrifying things that are coming at us at a rate of knots? I'm all about selling better, not just selling more. And there's a difference. What does selling better mean to you? Okay, understanding your client. What else? Selling smarter. What else?
Repeat business.
Pardon?
Repeat business.
Repeat business.
Having the customer have a great experience.
Have the customer have a great experience. What else? Yeah, so long-term relationships, playing for the end game. This is so important. Sustainability, long-term, thinking about not just that quick win. There's a lot of those people who can go for the low-hanging fruit. But the ones who actually can stay to actually cultivate something with much more meaning and purpose to it, to actually drive genuine change and opportunity, that's what we're looking for now if we're going to have human-to-human interaction. You probably understand I'm not about rah-rah. My world of selling is a lot about rah-rah and inspiration, but I'm actually about mastery. I'm about us actually working effectively, regardless of how you feel on the day. At the end of the day, if we don't sell, nothing actually happens. So we need to be out there. So perhaps if we start off with some orientation aspects as we work our way through. I'm actually asking you to be a bit brave and courageous this morning and to go out on a limb. Because the S word, selling, can often breed fear and tremblings for people. I'd like to be at least able to put it into perspective for you. I'm not asking you to love selling, but at least understand what good selling actually looks like. And so we're also going to look at how you combine that with networking. So let's start here first as our orientation tool. Quick, if you had to describe this picture in a word or two, what sort of words would you use? Just call them out. I obviously can't write them down, but what sort of words would you use to describe this picture? Focus and detail. What else? Curious. What else? A baby. What else? Cute. She's cute. What else? Slow. What else?
A bug.
What else? Interest.
Observe.
Anything else? Snail. Anything else? Pardon? Pinpointing and? Fun. Anything else?
Focus.
Okay. All right. Well, not all the words, but most of the words that you actually called out are in fact interesting terms that we would actually look at in terms of what good sales actually looks like. Bug and snail and some of the other things, maybe not so much. But particularly, there's one particular word that you called out that is absolutely core and central to running a successful business and working effectively with clients. Which word do you think that was? Curious, absolutely. Curiosity is key. Not the only key, but a very important key. I've done some homework on the brain. Now what we have to do is we need to think about, are there certain ways we think about ourselves, about other people, but particularly about ourselves, that are enhancing our opportunities and ourselves to work more effectively and be with people more effectively? Or are there ways that we think about ourselves that perhaps are actually holding us back? I don't know what your stuff is. I've got a fair idea what mine is, and I've been, as I said, self-medicating for as long as I know. But here are some of the resources that I thought I'd share with you. And there's like a little toolbox here about how to help look at your thoughts. Remember, every thought, every action is preceded by a thought. Now, whether you're consciously aware of the thoughts or not, well, that's part of the journey. So on page 40, if you look at it simply, now this stuff, by the way, has been around since human beings could talk to each other. Right? Plato, Socrates, the Buddha, etc., have all been discussing, okay, the concept of how we think and act and behave, etc. But on page 40, if you want to look at difference between positive and negative self-talk, you can look at just two phrases that I'm going to ask you to say to yourself. Inside your own mind, say to yourself, I want to, and then say, I have to.
The importance of asking good questions is obvious, but why is it sometimes so hard to come up with a good question?
Well, I think that's a good question in itself. And it comes back to really looking at what is your intention when asking questions. A lot of people think they should just ask all sorts of questions, and they never actually really step back and understand, what am I trying to achieve by asking questions? So when you step back and look at what are questions helping you do, questions deliver answers. And I know that men's hearts are in the right place, because as soon as they hear a problem, a lot of them, particularly engineering, technical kind of blokes, love being able to fix it.
Roll up the sleeves.
Yep.
I can fix
A
this.
lot of the men that we work with, you know, who are technical by nature, they see an issue and they forget to actually ask, John, is this something you'd actually like assistance with? Would
And how do you feel about that?
Well, or even if it's not even how you feel about it, do you actually want help in sorting this out or not? I think that as the world gets more complex and we need to really transition to being able to sell in solutions, not just transactional products, this is where women can come to the fore. Men too, but women tend to deal with process and they tend to sort of solve lots of problems. And when you think about putting in a new system or products or services into a system for a client, if you can think and act like that and work with people in that way, that's fantastic. It's really advantageous for you.
Oh, that's interesting. What else do other people find doing this exercise?
I just started to blather.
Sorry?
I just started to blather. You know, I just went on and on and on. Well, Susan.
I did that too.
So here's the challenge, because when it's your own business, you know, we know so much about our own business that we think everything is important to get it across as much as we can. In fact, less is more, isn't it? Keep it as simple as possible, because what they're going to buy from you is all the technology that lies underneath that simple statement there, correct? And you don't need to go, blah, 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 you know, and how you do it. That's not necessary. But you look at most websites and it goes on and on and on, doesn't it? So keeping it simple. So even if you found that was the case, I know it might not be ideal at this point in time, but it's a good thing, because now we know what we have to do to make it simple and easy and effective. Because your job isn't to sell anything at this stage, but it is your number one job is to capture share of mind.
My first session, I left that place with the biggest smile on my face, because we sat down and we nutted out the business of my business. And the business of my business is a statement that she always draws back to, that it should define exactly what your business is, and it should just be able to be said in one clear sentence.
Her slogan was everybody lives by selling something. And she was talking about how it's okay to sell something. That's what we're all doing. And I think that really stuck with me.
I really enjoyed the sort of the whole course, because Sue's a very engaging person and just sort of a really, you know, can take your sort of thought process to another level.
Sue was an elite swimmer herself, and at the time approached Dr. Frank Pike, who was then the director of the VIS, to provide some support for athletes in the area of building their business capacity.
There were probably a lot of athletes that were looking for business opportunities, their own business opportunities, and that Sue would be able to support them with some professional development through her own business.
Being able to sign up to a partnership means share of value and share in terms of the returns. So my take would have been around the bottleneck of actually bringing it together, and we've had to do that 320 odd times with community, and that's an interesting dynamic as well, because you have different drivers as to why people want to enter into that.
Yeah, I think finding common ground and then how to create a reasonable business partnership is incredibly important. However, you do meet people who might be all smiles and charming, but their intentions are otherwise, and so they then want to take advantage of those things. So it's as if almost we have to be experts in contractual law, you know, in terms of finding the right arrangements to be able to work effectively together as well. Look, we've had a jam-packed morning, and I would like to give a well-deserved round of applause to every single person up here. They make our lives better, even if we're sitting on the couch watching them perform extraordinary feats, but they also make our lives better because they're fantastic role models for all of us, our children, our friends, our family, to be able to actually get inspiration from and know that each day we get up, we get going, and we can actually make our lives and those around us better if we give it a go. So thank them all very much for me. Thank you very much. So with that, I would like to close proceedings. As I mentioned earlier before, I think the words discernment and equanimity will travel very well and lightly with you. Please use them each day, each moment that you can, and it is our privilege to help you in some small way go from ordinary to extraordinary. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.